Ever hear an elevator ding too close? With your badge flashing red and your back against a stairwell door that shouldn't be locked? I did. Don't tell me I imagined it. I was wedged on the landing between 12 and 11. The door into 11 had a badge scanner. I hit it with my card. The little red light blinked. Beep. Denial. My hand shook. I admit it. The stairwell was concrete and metal. My breath bounced back at me. Hard footsteps ticked up from below, slow, like someone counting. I stared at the number painted on the wall. 11. The sound came up to the corner and stopped. That's when the elevator dinged on the other side of the wall, right through the drywall, like a toothache in the building's jaw. Too close. No one had called it. Not me. I pressed the badge again. Red. The footsteps shifted. One more step. Not a cleaning cart. A person. I slid down one flight, my shoes sliding on the metal lip. I didn't run. I didn't want to make noise. My hand brushed the rail. Cold. Another ding, this time on 12, like it was keeping pace. It started earlier. A long day. Overtime, because a client pushed a change and I was the idiot who said fine. Most people had cleared out at 8. The floor glass went from windows to mirror after dark. I liked it. I could see behind me while I fixed the spreadsheet. The lights hummed. I heard one elevator ding, then another. Our bank of elevators dings when they land. That's normal. This one sounded like it was in the hallway, not the shaft. I know that makes no sense. It just did. I stood, stretched, rubbed my eyes. In the black window glass, I saw a man's shoulder cross behind me. Red jacket. Quick, just a slip of color. I turned. The aisle was empty. Desks, monitors asleep. The stupid plant near HR's corner. No one. Hello? My voice sounded dumb in the open space. Nothing. I laughed once, low. I wasn't scared then. I'm not nervous like some of them. I went back to my seat. I had my ID clipped to my belt loop. The clip's plastic bit kept snagging my shirt. I remember flicking it annoyed. I remember because later it was gone. At 9:15, I got an HR email. Subject: policy reminder. The kind they send with the read receipt set on. I swear to you it hit at 9:15 because I glanced and thought, great, even HR is working late. I clicked it. This message requires your acknowledgement. I pressed the button. My phone vibrated. Read. That label sat under it like a fingerprint. I hit reply and typed, "Can this wait till morning?" I had a joke lined up about them spying on us at night. Deleted it. Whatever. Around 9:40 I went to piss. The hall to the men's room has those mirrored glass panels on one side. They look into the atrium in the day. At night they show your face. That's where I saw him the second time. Full figure this time. Red company jacket. We all got one last winter. He was 50 feet behind me, turned toward me in the glass. I turned and nobody. Just the open hall. Felt dumb again. As I stepped forward, something brushed my shoulder. Fabric against fabric. Warm. Wait. I checked the ceiling for a vent, maybe kicking on. Nothing. I spun around. Empty. The air smelled sharp, like pennies. I looked down. Red on my sleeve. Not a lot. A smear, like someone had swiped a finger along my cuff. I touched it. Wet. It smudged on my fingertips. Don't say ketchup. There's no food on 11. It wasn't marker either. It tasted metallic. Yeah, I tasted it. What would you have done? I took a picture. My hands looked shaky in the shot. The smear looked black under the LEDs. I wiped my fingers on a paper towel in the men's room. I washed. I scrubbed too hard. My skin went pink. While I was in there, an elevator dinged again, right outside the door. Just one ping. It sounded like a bell in a pocket. I went back to my desk. I checked the cameras. Not the building feeds, just the little camera in the hall. We have a webcam that shows the lobby so you can meet guests. I pulled it up. The feed stuttered in grainy gray. I rewinded. I hate scrolling video. It makes you sick. There I was, going down the hall. Nothing behind me. I scrolled to where I'd turned and looked. Nothing. No red jacket behind me. I said, no. No. I know what I saw. The mirrored glass showed him. The camera didn't. That means the camera was pointed wrong. That's all. I called security. The desk phone said, security. I pressed. It rang. No answer. I called again. After 4 rings, it picked up. Silence, then breathing. Hey, I said. Someone's on 11. Or messing with the elevators. Can you send? Click. The call dropped. My phone buzzed. No email. From HR. The same reminder. On top of it, read. I hadn't touched it. I stood so hard the chair rolled back and hit the cube wall. All right. So I did what no one is supposed to do. I grabbed my backpack and walked toward the exit. I wasn't going to play hero at 10 at night. The badge scanner at the door flashed red when I tried to go to the elevators. It had gone green at 8 when I went to the kitchen. Now red. I tried again. Red. It beeped. Same flat sound. I even smacked it with my palm. People hit it. It doesn't help. I know that. I did it anyway. Behind me, hard footsteps. Not running. Just placing each step down like a metronome. I didn't turn. I moved fast down the hall to the back stair. I looked in the mirrored glass as I passed. He was there. Closer. Red jacket. Head down like he didn't want me to see his face. See? If I was faking this, I'd say I saw his face right then. I didn't. I saw a shape. The brush of the sleeve again as I hit the bar on the stair door. My ID clacked against it. The door opened. The metal staircase yawned up. Cold air. I stepped in and the door eased shut and clicked. From the other side came the steps. He was on 11. I was in the stairs. Fine. Fine. I started down. The air got colder as I went. My phone buzzed. HR again. Now a reply. Subject. Body. Please refrain from using emergency channels for non-emergencies. Read. I stared at that label until the screen dimmed. I called HR back. No answer. I left a message. This is not a non-emergency. There's a guy on 11. He touched me. Check the cameras. Yes. I sounded mad. The echo made me sound worse. I tried the door into 10. Scanner blinked red. Locked. Balked. Beep. I swore. I went to 9. Red. Beep. The same beep. Regular. I started to hear that sound under the elevator ding in my head. It stacked. Beep. Ding. Beep. Ding. And the steps. Tireless. Above me now. I looked up the center of the stairs. I couldn't see anyone. Just the square frames of each floor shrinking up. A dark handprint on the underside of the 12 landing rail. Fresh. Wet. The drip ran the wrong way for a second, and then fell and spat on the step. I swallowed. I told myself the cleaners spilled something. We don't have cleaners on 11 after 6. So it was, from an earlier spill, fine. Except when I hit 8 and pushed, the door opened 2 inches and stopped, like a shoulder pressed it from the other side. Then it shut smooth, like there was no one there. I slapped it with the flat of my hand. It didn't budge. My palm stung. My badge was gone then. That's when I realized it. I reached down and the clip wasn't there. The plastic piece had snapped or someone had taken it. I checked my pockets. Empty. No ID. No exit. I stood with my back to the cool cinder block and told myself to breathe. I held my backpack to my chest like a shield. Something scuffed above me. He was on 9 landing now. I could count floors by the echo. I went down to the basement. The old gym. The smell of rubber. The door at B blinked red too, but I could shove that one. It groaned but gave. I got into the service corridor, that long line of pipes and supply closets. I know it from fire drills. The cameras down there are domes in the ceiling. I looked up at one and lifted my hands. Hello? Send someone. I spoke out loud because I wanted it recorded that I asked for help, that I did the right thing. I pulled out my phone. 10%. I opened the camera and set it to video. I pointed it back toward the stair door. The handle turned. It did. It jiggled. Slow. No one came through. I knew if I went to the loading dock, I could get out. But that door needs ID too, and mine was missing. Fine. I went along the wall, keeping my shoulder on the concrete. My shoulder brushed something sticky. When I looked, there were red streaks on the cinder block, long and low, like someone had dragged 2 fingers along as they walked. Fresh. Glossy under the LED. It smelled like the metal smell again. My fingers itched. I didn't touch it this time. I sent the video to myself and to HR. Subject: evidence. It sent, then bounced back. Rejected. Message too large. I clipped 10 seconds and sent again. My phone said sent, and then right under it, read. No reply. A cart squealed at the far end. I froze. A man in a red jacket stepped out from an alcove near the dock. My body went cold and I thought, okay, he'll look at me. He didn't. He turned and walked the other way. He was too far to call. The jacket matched ours. Company logo on the back shoulder. I followed slow, keeping low, my shoes quiet. When I reached the corner, he was gone. No doors. Just gone. I heard an elevator ding up 1 floor. There are no elevators on B down there. It dinged anyway. My hands sweat and the phone slipped. I caught it. I whispered, "This is stupid. This is a prank." I went back up because, at least in the main hall, I knew where I was. I took the stairs to one. The door into the lobby was unlocked. Thank God. The lobby had 2 turnstiles. You need to badge out or the guard buzzes you. The guard's stool was empty. Desk empty. Monitors on. Showing nothing. My reflection in the big glass at the front doors looked taller than me for a second, and I hated it. I hit the exit. Locked. After hours. Of course. I waved at the camera. I held up my empty hands. Help. The elevator dinged behind me. That stupid, clean sound. I turned. The left car had arrived with no one touching the panel. The up arrow lit. The little bell light blinked. The doors slid open. Past the silver doors, in the bright car, stood the man in red. He stood like me. My height. He wore my company red jacket, the exact one I left on my chair last week. I knew because the cuff had a coffee stain we couldn't get out. On his chest hung an ID badge with my face and my name. Mine. The plastic had a crack at the top where the clip goes. The clip wasn't there. He had looped it on a lanyard. My lanyard. He raised a hand like hello. His knuckles had that same smear, that same wet red. He looked up. I saw his mouth. He whispered my name. He didn't say it loud. He breathed it. He said it like he was me trying it out. It echoed like it came from the elevator speaker. I took a step back. He took a step back too, perfectly matched. You can say I was seeing my reflection in the door. No. The doors were all the way open. The car was deep. The back wall was brushed steel. I could see both of us. He was half a step off from me. He smiled wrong. I did what got me written up later, and I don't care. I turned and slapped the fire alarm pull on the wall. The plastic cover chirped. I yanked it down. The siren started. The lights went to red and the strobes on the ceiling painted everything in slices. The elevator doors tried to close and then opened back up because of the alarm. He didn't move. The red light made his skin tone go wrong. He looked flat. I jumped the turnstile. I scraped my thigh. I didn't feel it. I hit the street door with my shoulder, and it banged, and then the magnet let go, and I fell out onto the sidewalk hard enough to scrape my palms. Cold air. Horns. A truck boycotted the curb. I got up and ran at least half a block before I stopped and turned around. I waited to see if anyone came out. Nobody did. The alarm blinked red through the glass like a heartbeat. They called me the next day. Security. HR. A lot of talk. False alarm. Property loss. They wanted my badge back. I said, "You have it." "You have it because he had it." They said, "Who?" I said, "The man in the red jacket." They wrote that down. I could see the notes on the screen reflected in the shiny table. Man in red. Like I was making up a character. I got mad. I pounded once on the table. That's when they showed me the footage from the lobby. You know the footage. Under emergency light, the cameras go red. It flattens everything. Makes everyone look bad. They played it. It showed me in the lobby waving at the camera. It showed the elevator open. It showed a man in a red jacket in the car. Only he had my face. Not like a look-alike. My face. My eyes. My mouth. He stood like me and lifted his hand like me and whispered something I couldn't hear. The mic doesn't pick up whispers. I said, "That's the red light. That's why it looks like that. The angle warps it." The guard said, "Maybe." HR said, "We just want to be sure you're okay." On the footage, I turned and I pulled the alarm. On the footage, the man in the elevator didn't flinch. He just stood there and watched me go. The doors closed. The light blipped. That was it. I told them about the smear on my sleeve. They said, "Show us." I lifted the cuff. The shirt had been washed by then. The smear was faint. Pink. It looked like marinara if I'm honest. I said, "You can test the cameras on 11. Pull the clip I sent." HR said they got no attachment. I showed them my sent folder. "Read," under the subject. They shrugged. Later, on my phone, the clip was there, but the part where the door handle moved didn't move anymore. It was just me breathing and the door steady. It happens. Files corrupt. Fine. They told me to take 2 days. Wellness. I took them. I didn't sleep. Every time a truck backup beeped in the street, I heard the elevator. When the fridge light in my apartment clicked on, I saw the red badge light in my head. Blink. The inside of my eyelids went red, white from the alarm strobes we sat under in the conference room with security. Every email from HR after that had read under it. Even before I clicked. That's not possible, and I know how email works enough to know you can flag a receipt, but you can't stamp read before I read it. It was there anyway. I turned off notifications. The sound still came. On my last day, I left. Yeah, I left after they let me take the jacket from my chair. It was hanging there, red with the coffee stain right at the cuff like always. They had no right to keep it. I put it on to leave. It itched wrong at the neck. In the elevator on my way down alone, it dinged at every floor like it was stopping for others. Doors didn't open. Just the ding. At the lobby, the doors slid back, and my reflection in the mirrored steel looked tired. It looked like it was a half step off again, like it would move wrong if I turned my head. I didn't look long. I'm not telling you this because I need you to believe the footage. The footage lies. The red light wrecks faces. I know what I felt in that hall. Warm fabric on my shoulder, breath by my ear, the way my name sounded like my own mouth didn't belong to me. I didn't make up the marks on the wall. I didn't smear my own shirt and forget like an idiot. The doors locked. The scanners blinked red. The elevators arrived when I didn't press them. Every path I took wound me back to where the ding was always closest, like it was leading me. That's not me being dramatic. That's just what happened. I pulled the alarm, and that's why I'm here and not in a box somewhere. I'm sorry about the damage and the write-up and the emails. Fine me if you want. I was right to do it, no matter how the tape looks. But I can't not hear it now. That clean little bell lives in my ear. It comes when I pass any mirrored glass at night. Shop window, bus shelter, my own hallway in the dark. Ding! And in the reflection there's a red jacket, a step behind. If I stand still long enough, the red light blinks on something I can't see and marks it. Read. Then it waits for me to move. I don't stand still long. I keep walking. I don't take elevators anymore, but they still find me. Ding, ding, ding. Sun stain. I hope you liked this one, and if you did, prove it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you come back for more. It takes a second, and it really keeps this channel breathing. There's another story waiting. You should probably watch it before the lights flicker again. See you in the next one.